What is up, y'all? Schrodinger back with part 3 of my Post Arizona Trail and Pacific Crest Trail gear review. In this video, we're going to be talking about all the clothes that I wore, throughout my all my hiking this year. So, kind of got it laid out in front of me. You can see it a little bit, but yeah, definitely pretty consistent most of the time. Definitely didn't change up too much, but changed up a few things and. Yeah, so I just want to talk about it and, some of the things that I do use and that I wore this year, a little, I wouldn't call it unorthodox, but definitely a little out of the norm. So I think, just another perspective will be good. Also, this is coming after the holiday season. I did take a little bit of a break. I did say a video every 2 weeks. And this video, I believe, will be a 3-week delay, or 3 weeks after the last video, just because of Christmas and New Year's and the holiday season. So I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, a happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Happy that. If I missed anything, I do apologize. And also a happy New Year. 2023, going into it, I hope that you're planning a hike, and this would be, 2023 is going to be your year. I don't say that in jest. I say that because coming into 2021 was my first year, and I was planning over the New Year's, and I kind of had the same thought going where I was going to the AT, and I was like, 2021 is going to be a just kind of a year change for me, and it truly was. So I hope if you're watching this, you're planning your 2023 and wanting to, kind of recreate yourself in the new year. Yeah, it's your New Year's resolution. I really wish you the best, and I hope, again, as always, I hope my advice can help you a little bit. And so let's just get into it, and probably start, I don't know, top or bottom. I never plan these videos, I just kind of wing it when I get here. But we'll start at the top. So we'll start at the top and work our way down to the feet. And so go ahead and clear everything off and start with all the coats I wore. All right, so let's get into it. This year I wore 2 different types of kind of warm or cold weather, like keep me warm overcoats. First one was a down jacket that I wore, and the second one I switched over to a fleece. And if you watched my video on like the sleeping bags and my sleep system, that I'm kind of switching away from down. It's kind of something that I'm moving towards, just because, down when it's good, it's amazing, and when it's bad, it's pretty horrible. And I had some bad experiences with it this year. With down, just kind of, it ended up in the bad, and I just didn't. I would rather have something that's pretty neutral all the time in any condition than something that I have to, take care of perfectly and make sure, with down, you just have to make sure you don't get it wet. And I'm not the best at rainproofing my stuff. I really usually don't care too much if it's raining. Sometimes I just won't even put anything on. I'll just kind of eat the rain and walk through it and, get soaked and then be miserable at the end of it. So for that reason, I'm switching away from down, but I started out with an REI down jacket. So this is pretty simple. Just a basic. This is just from REI, their basic down. Let me see. I don't know the fill off the top of my head. I might be able to find it. But it's not very high. I do know that, at least. I think it's like maybe 600. But probably less, maybe 500. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure, but with this, I wouldn't really worry too much about your fill. I use this for, 4,000. Well, actually, maybe almost 5,000 miles. Because I started out the AT with it. I hiked with it pretty much the whole time. I did send it home in the summer on the AT, which was a mistake. Just keep your puffy at all times. You never know when it could get cold, especially on the PCT, because I was cold probably every night. There was never really like a warm night, and then like waking up, I always wanted my puffy. So I definitely recommend whatever jacket you wear, keep it with you through your whole hike. but I've probably, 4,000 miles probably that I hiked with this jacket, and works great. I don't have just too many holes in it. I did take moderately good care of it. And yeah, it kept me warm. It's comfortable. It's lightweight. I think I looked it up one time when I was like 10 or 11 ounces. Like I said, I don't really count ounces, so I don't care that much to look. But I think it was 11 ounces. But yeah, it's down. It keeps you warm. It was $100. And especially if you can go in there when it's on sale, or if you're a member at REI, you can get it for a lot, or for maybe not for a lot cheaper, but for a decent amount cheaper. And it's a jacket. It keeps me warm, and I did enjoy it. But like I said, switching away from down, and yeah, so that's why I switched over to, let's get this out of the way. Switched over to Mountain Hardwear fleece. I can't remember exactly which one this is. I should really look this stuff up, but I will definitely have a link to everything in the description. I'll find exactly which one I bought, but this is just a Mountain Hardwear fleece. This one does have a hood on it, which is a little nice. I did kind of get fed up with not having a hood. Forgot to mention that this puffy does not have a hood, so I got something with a hood because it was nice to like keep my neck warm and kind of be able to like snuggle into it a little bit, I guess. It just makes you sleep a little better, or I sleep a little better anyway. Makes me a little bit more comfortable. But it says Polar Tech fleece. I think this is like a medium weight fleece, so it's not exactly like the warmest thing ever. I did notice a couple times, even on like chilly nights, that I was starting to get a little cold, and kind of wished I had the puffy again. But I didn't get so cold that I was miserable. It was just like a little chilly, and definitely like had it, put through the ringer in the rain. Got it wet quite a few times, and it kept its insulation. It worked fine. It was just, it didn't really bother me too much when it did get wet, because it was still any type of fleece you have still maintains a decent amount of insulation. I think it might be around like 70%. I don't know the exact numbers on it, but it will maintain some of its insulation, so it's not completely useless. Where down, when it gets wet, 5% of its insulation, you're really not going to get anything out of it. It's just going to kind of sap the heat out of you because it's wet. And it's not fun when down gets wet. So that's why I switched to the fleece. And a couple other nice features on it. It does have a couple of pockets. You do have the, hip pockets. Same thing on the down. It does have the same pockets. And then a nice, chest pocket where you can, keep some money or your ID, credit cards, stuff like that. You can kind of tuck into there, especially if you're, using it to walk around town or something. It is pretty nice. And then it does have some internal storage pockets. I think the down does have the same. So a lot of the same features with the pockets and stuff. But one really nice thing is the thumb hole on the jacket. If you can see that, you can kind of see through the little loop. You can fit your thumb through that, and gives you a little bit more comfort, a little bit more coverage. Just keeps your wrists warm, and also keeps it so when you're sitting in your sleeping bag or at camp or whatever, it's not going to ride way up your arm just on accident, or while you're tossing and turning in the middle of the night. So it saves you a little bit of discomfort there with those thumb holes, which is really nice. And yeah, I believe that's pretty much it for the two jackets that I wore this year. There's not a lot to say about them. They just kind of, you throw them on, they keep you warm. So if they accomplish that, that's pretty much it. So go ahead and switch over to, I guess, just the shirts I wore this year. So I'll get these off the table, bring up the other shirt that I wore, and we'll get to talking about that. All right, so let's get on to the two different shirts that I wore. So I'm not going to talk about the one that I'm wearing just yet, because I did wear this one at the end. The first one I wore was a Mountain Hardwear. It's just a long sleeve. You can roll up the sleeves, button-up T-shirt. And I didn't, I don't know what this is called, because Honestly bought this at the Nantahala Outdoor Center on the Appalachian Trail. It's about 120 miles in. It's like the second kind of gear, like place where you can re-outfit gear. And when I started the AT, I just kind of, kind of like I do these videos, I was just kind of winging it. I just went into it. I wasn't really, I did a little bit of research, but I wasn't 100% sure what I was doing. So I had some shorts that I was like, oh, like I just want to save some money. So I spent like 15 bucks on them. They were chafing me really bad. I was wearing a cotton t-shirt. I just had two of them that I'd rotate out, and I mean, not like the worst thing ever in the summer, but if it had gotten cold, I wouldn't have had I wouldn't have had a good time at all, because cotton is definitely not recommended. So I just went in, I saw these, and I picked them up. If you can't tell, Mountain Hardwear, I'm kind of a big fan of them for shirts and stuff. I'm not sponsored. I wish I was, because I do really love their stuff. But yeah, a lot of features here. I do love the button up of this shirt. It allows you a lot of versatility and kind of coverage, while also letting some you can let a lot of heat out just by, I would just open up the chest and kind of pull it behind my pack straps, and then that left it so my shoulders and everything were still covered, but it still felt like I wasn't wearing a shirt. I was letting a lot of heat out through my chest, through my stomach, and it was really nice and keep me warm. So it does have that. You have the two front chest pockets. I did often, I think I pretty much always had my cards and stuff and my money in these front chest pockets. That was where I kept it on the AT anyway. I changed up some stuff, and so I didn't have to keep in the front chest pockets, but they are pretty nice to just keep stuff in, especially like your credit cards, ID, any of that stuff. It is a nice place to put it. Money, sometimes I would sweat on it and it would get a little soggy. So if you're worried about that, maybe don't keep your any paper money, at least in the chest pockets. But any plastic stuff, yeah, it was great to keep it there. This also has a really nice the roll-up sleeves. You can see it has like button ups, so you have a lot of versatility here, where you can just undo the cuffs and pull them up. You can roll it all the way up, so you can like change it to a short sleeve or leave it as a long sleeve, depending on temperature, sun, how much you're sweating, whatever. On the AT, you don't get near as much sun, so I pretty much had these rolled up, or I wasn't wearing a shirt pretty much the whole time. Where on the PCT and the AZT, you're a lot more exposed. So I definitely really wanted a lot more coverage. So I never really, I don't think I ever even rolled the sleeves up. Barely even got a tan on my forearms on the PCT. And that's pretty much a lot of the features. So one really nice thing about this is that it's a lot thicker fabric than the Sun Hoodie that I'll talk about here in a second. So when I was kind of in Washington and Oregon, I wouldn't, the mosquitoes would land on my shirt and they would have a harder time biting through it. Some of the thinner areas, they would still be able to, but definitely like the back, there's like mesh and stuff up in the shoulders to like kind of keep a little bit more breathability, and it's a little bit thicker fabric. So mosquitoes really couldn't bite through it, where I saw a lot of people with the Sun Hoodies, they had a lot more bugs biting through their shirt, which, depending on where you're hiking, that could be a really, really, really big deal. Trust me, if you saw my PCT videos and my trek through Oregon, you know how much I hate mosquitoes, and you know how horrible they can be. Just 50 miles of just mosquito nightmare. I saw it break people and get them off trail. So definitely something to think about in your choice of clothing is bugs and how easily they're going to be able to bite through it. And if they could bite through it, definitely take some precautions with permethrin or DEET, and definitely focus on that. And the other shirt I wore this year is the Mountain Hardwear Sun Hoodie. I believe this is the Crater Lake Sun Hoodie. I'm pretty sure that is the one that I bought. And yeah, it's a sun hoodie. There's not really much to it. It's just It's very thin fabric. This is super thin. You know, like any dry fit shirt that you buy. You know, it's the same material, same polyester and everything. It does have the the thumb holes on it. So if that's something that you like using, that's definitely an option. I always used it when I put on any either of my jackets, because I didn't want, you know, this. You know, you pull the jacket on and then now you're like trying to reach up in and get your hoodie out, and it's this big pain. So the only time I really use the thumb holes is just I would throw the thumb holes on, put my jacket on, and then I'd take the thumb holes out, and that worked really well. Yeah, it does have like a nice kind of turtleneck to it, which really keeps the sun off, and then you can put the hood all the way up, and it really covers everything and keeps the sun off you. You just need a pair of sunglasses and you have pretty much everything covered. So this is probably my hiking shirt going forward. You know, like I said, I switched over to it and just want to try it out. I saw a lot of, like, I mean, everyone on the PCT had one, and they're just super comfortable. I'm not as worried anymore about like rolling my sleeves up and saying, you know, keeping cool that way, because you don't need to with this. I mean, you just stay so cool. It's never wet. It dries super fast. You know, it doesn't really insulate you at all, but there's other things that you can wear, like a jacket, to actually, you know, get some insulation and keep you a little bit warmer than, you know, than just not wearing a shirt. But everything about this is super comfortable. I mean, it's very basic. I'm not as worried about the weight, but it is very lightweight, which is nice. And yeah, it's pretty much it for the sun hoodie. So go ahead and talk about what I wore on my legs for this year. So get onto that. All right, so making our way down to anything that I wore kind of around my waist, I guess you could say. And kind of, you know, my everyday wear stuff was the kilt, which, if you didn't know or watch my like pre-videos, or, you know, watch any of my other videos, I do wear a kilt. Talk about how amazing they are here in a second. And also the fanny pack. Another thing, I'll talk about the fanny pack first. I didn't wear a fanny pack on the AT, but I saw a lot of people with them, so I thought, hey, you know, maybe I'll switch to it and just try it out. Never again will I hike without a fanny pack. It is seriously an essential piece of gear. You can put so much stuff in them. It's so convenient. Even if you have like hip belt pockets, it's nice to just have the extra storage. You know, this was always on me. And I know a lot of people who keep, like, you know, I don't want to give away too many secrets, but definitely people who keep most of their important stuff in their fanny pack. And it was, myself included, I would rather lose my whole pack than my fanny pack, because the stuff in the fanny pack really couldn't easily be replaced, and everything in my pack could be replaced with whatever was in my fanny pack. You know, I kept all my cards and stuff in it, and it was just, you know, very convenient to have it there, and nice to have it just kind of, you know, it's always wrapped around your waist. And I really only took it off just to like get in my tent, and then even like walking around town and stuff, it was always on me. And I kept, you know, anything immediately useful to me was in the fanny pack. And definitely recommend it if you're kind of on the fence or about it, and you're like, oh, I don't know how useful it'll be, or if you're like, well, fanny packs look goofy, you know, that's what people in the 1980s wore. Get over it. They're awesome. You know, I actually wear my fanny pack in normal life sometimes. This is not just a hiking thing. I do not care about what people think. It's so useful. All right. You have to dig in your pockets for stuff. I go to the fanny pack. I don't have to worry about stuff being in my pockets. Way more comfortable. It's always there. Highly recommend the fanny pack, both for hiking and real life. Like, bring the fanny pack back. I don't know why it ever got phased out. I don't care how goofy you look or how goofy you think you look, because you don't look goofy. You look like a normal person and who's practical at this point. They're awesome. Buy a fanny pack. Definitely recommend. This is a Brooks fanny pack. I just bought it at like a running store, but you can use literally any fanny pack. They do make like waterproof ones. This one's not, but it's definitely an option. That would make the fanny pack even more useful. Because, yeah, I mean, who would have thought that this awesome thing could get more awesome? But yes, you can waterproof it and make bigger ones. You know, I've seen people that have, I swear they have like a 3-liter fanny pack. So they're like have like half their food for the day in it. It's pretty awesome. This is definitely a smaller one, probably like a ½ liter. But more than enough for me. Kept everything that useful that I needed in it. Get a fanny pack. Love a fanny pack. It's awesome. So to continue talking about the awesome things that I used this year, want to talk about another of my favorite things is the Kilt. So I got this from sportkilt.com. You can see that. I'll get a little closer. Again, I'll link it in the description. It'll be easy to find. And I love wearing a kilt. You know, I kind of, when I was on the AT, I got introduced to it. I met an older gentleman, and he was wearing a kilt. So I got to talking to him about it because I was, you know, I'd never seen somebody wear it. I'd like heard about it, but I was like, I'm not going to see anybody. And he was really singing its praises, kind of talking about, you know, how comfortable it was and everything. And after talking to him, I was, you know, it like piqued my interest a little bit. And I was like, maybe I'll wear a kilt. But I hadn't had any issues with the shorts I was wearing. So I was like, I'll hold off. Met a couple other people along the way wearing kilts, and they, you know, I didn't meet a person who was like, I don't like the kilt, I'm going to switch back as soon as I can. You know, every person I met wearing a kilt was like, I love this, I'm never wearing anything else. And the only people who like really didn't talk about the kilt in a positive manner just never wore it, and they were like, oh, I just don't want to wear it. So I've never met anyone who wore a kilt and didn't enjoy it, and didn't think it was just the best thing ever. And that is myself included. I was hiking one time and I met this guy, and we started talking and stuff, and he like mentioned the kilt, and he was like, oh yeah, you know, you're not like he's like, you're not like everybody else who wears a kilt where you're like, oh, the kilt's the best thing ever and blah, blah, blah. And you just like have to tell everybody about how cool the kilt is. And I was like, well, you just haven't asked. Because it really is. You know, I don't think I'll ever hike in anything else. Even if I did like some winter hiking, I would just get like a winter kilt. You know, they're so comfortable. You know, so after talking to people about it and stuff, I was in Pennsylvania on the AT, and I had the worst chafing of my life in places where I never want to chafe again. Not going to get too far into it, but it was horrible. It's the closest I've ever been to getting off trail. It was seriously like just mentally crushing. I had a miserable like 3 days, and I never wanted it to happen again. So I said, I'm gonna get a kilt, and I'm gonna hike in that. Like I have to try it, you know, because everyone who's told me like, oh, you don't chafe in it. So ordered one, didn't get it in until the end of the AT, because I got like some custom stuff done to it that I wanted to get done, and then it just didn't show up in time. But I hiked the whole Arizona Trail and the whole Pacific Crest Trail wearing it. Hands down, best thing ever. Never hiking anything ever again. You know, it's super comfortable, no chafing. You know, it's super breezy. You know, you stay cool. You stay at like a good temperature control. You know, you're never too hot, too cold, and even like when it's super hot, you don't get super hot. And then like when it gets a little chilly and it's like kind of at that border where, you know, maybe I want to wear tights or maybe I don't, the kilt will even like kind of keep some of that warmth in, even though this is like a lightweight fabric, and keep you a little bit, you know, comfortable at least. You definitely won't get super cold. So that's why I love it. I mean, just everything about it is amazing. Yeah, so the couple things that I got like the leather straps, like the leather buckles on it on the side. So you don't like really need them, but it is kind of just held together by Velcro, and as that wraps around your waist, and then you buckle it, just kind of make sure it doesn't, you know, you don't end up getting your kilt ripped off if it gets snagged on a branch or something, and you just end up exposed on the trail, and no one will really care, but it will be a little embarrassing. So the buckles are nice. I think all the new ones, some of the older ones they had were just Velcro, but then they added these to some of the newer ones. But I got the leather buckles custom. Wouldn't recommend it. In hindsight, going back because this one's getting a little raggedy, I definitely have put some miles on it. I'm gonna switch over, and they have just like normal, like a buckle like this. I don't know what type of buckle this would be, but just like a clip buckle like that. That's like their standard, what they offer, and I'll definitely switch over to that. Gives you a little bit more adjustability on controlling the tightness and stuff, and a little bit more comfortable too. So definitely wouldn't recommend the leather, but I guess if you want it, I wanted it, so I thought it was cool, so I got it. I also got pockets on it. You have very deep side pockets. These pockets are obnoxiously big. I was, expecting some small ones, but like I could, I can't, like, there was something that I put in it where I was like, there's no reason. I was probably like, I probably got like a sub sandwich. You definitely could fit a full sub sandwich in just each pocket. It's a ton of room on these. I'm gonna switch away from the pockets because I really just didn't put stuff in it. I don't like stuff like hitting my legs while I'm walking all day. So probably not gonna go with the pockets again. But it is an option if you don't want to wear the fanny pack. You don't have hip belts, and you can just have these enormous pockets that you can throw everything in, and that is an option that you have buying from Sport Kilt. Other than that, that's pretty much it for the features of the kilt. Again, can't sing its praises enough. Like, the kilt is awesome. Definitely would recommend it just for functionality, everything. It's the perfect thing to hike in. They are becoming a little bit more popular. I did see more people on the PCT than I did on the AT wearing them. So if you're like, oh, well, I'll be the weird guy, give it a couple years, then you won't be the weird guy. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the kilt and the fanny pack. That's, so move on to the next thing. So get these off the table, and we'll talk about kind of the undergarments that I wore this year. So talk about that. All right, so because I get the question so often, I know it's a normal question, do you wear underwear underneath the kilt? Yes, I do. Couple of reasons. One, it's more comfortable. I like something to support me, while I'm hiking. It's just uncomfortable to me. And two, it doesn't, no matter how careful you are, you're going to end up in a situation where people are going to be seeing things that they don't want or need to see. And just have some courtesy to people on the trail while you're wearing the kilt. I do know a lot of people who didn't wear it and they never had any problems, but if I'm around them and I know I'm just not looking in that direction. Definitely had some issues because my underwear, I had one pair. So, if my family from the PCT watches this, they're going to be like, look, you're lying. I saw your stuff 5 times. It's going to happen. There were some holes in my underwear, which just progressed into pretty much not wearing underwear because I was stubborn and just wanted to get them all the way to Canada. That's another story. But yeah, just wear underwear. I wear compression shorts. You don't need to go out wearing boxers. And they also help with chafing a little bit. Sometimes if I was just going commando with the kilt, I would chafe, which I know I said, oh, you never chafe. Well, that's why I wear the compression shorts, just to help that. And then my compression shorts that I wear, they're Tesla brand. If you're an Elon Musk hater, I don't think they have anything to do with Elon Musk. I think it's just an underwear company. It's a Chinese compression short company. I hope they still exist, and I hope they haven't got copyrighted. But it's $15 for a pack of 3, which is just super cheap for a pair of compression shorts. you can spend like $50 on a pair, or you can spend 15 for 3 of them. And these work great. Like, I never have any issues with them. They're comfortable. They fit well. I, again, can't talk about the good of them enough because, they're just perfect and cheap. And that is also why I wear Tesla tights. They're the same thing. I think these were like maybe $20. But these are like basically running tights. And these are a little bit thicker. These are my like cold weather tights that I wear. They're pretty heavy. It's like a heavy spandex. And they do keep you warm-ish. It's better than nothing, of course. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty much that. They do have these little side pockets because they're kind of meant to be like worn solo, I guess, if you're like going running. So you can like fit your phone, whatever. So there were a couple times if I was doing laundry and washing everything, I would wear these and just kind of walk around in town in them. It's a little weird, but it's not like the worst thing ever. It's better that than like wearing a towel like I've done before. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that. So we'll move on to the footwear that I wore this year. Okay, so time to talk about what I wore on my feet this year, and probably in my opinion, the most important thing that you should like actually spend some time researching, trying different things, and something that I'll probably make a whole video on in the future. I'm not sure when, but at some point, definitely on the shoes. But I'll talk about the socks first. So I wear Darn Toughs. I'm a huge fan of Darn Tough. Just a lifetime warranty, very durable, very comfortable. They don't smell that bad. I mean, obviously you wear a pair of socks for 3, 4, 5 a week at a time. They're gonna start to smell, but definitely as far as different socks that I've worn, it holds the foot stank off for longer than other socks. I think I said the lifetime warranty, but I think I went through let me think, 7 pairs of socks, and I only paid for one of them, or well, 2 of them, I guess, because you rip them, and along trails and in trail towns, it's very easy to go to an outfitter and you just walk in, hey, my socks are ripped, and then you hand them the socks you had, they give you some new ones, and you're good to go. It's very easy, very, very, very simple to do, especially when you're on trail and you don't really have access to it's harder to mail stuff, or you just don't want to take the time. Maybe you're getting in towns on the weekends all the time, or it just makes it very easy to just be able to walk in and get a new, brand new, fresh pair of socks. That's a big reason why I love Darn Toughs. The socks will last you a lifetime because you can just keep getting new ones anytime the ones you have wear out, and they do take quite a while to wear out. It's not like every 100 miles you're going to be going in and getting some new, getting new socks and having to deal with that. You're always just, they'll last you about, I think mine were like 500 miles usually, sometimes longer. Actually, no, usually longer. If I got the right size. I did get the wrong size one time, because I went into a store, they just handed me some, I didn't pay attention to what they were giving me. They were a size too small, and I ripped them the second time I used them. But I think those were also lightweight socks, and I tend to stay away from the lightweight socks because they're less durable. I get the midweight cushioned. They have the foot cushion in the bottom, which gives you a little bit more comfort. And these are the boot socks. I think that's what they're called. This is boot sock. I don't go over the calf or anything. The mid-height sock. And that's my preferred comfort. I definitely know a lot of people who wear I think they're the micro crew, where you can barely see them out of your shoes. I just have always liked the boot sock. I've worn them since I was 10. That's just kind of what I wore growing up, and it's just more comfortable to me. It keeps a little bit of the dirt out of your shoes, in my opinion. Keeps just keeps your feet a little bit cleaner and your ankles a little bit cleaner. So that's why I go for that. But definitely, wear whatever socks you want. And it doesn't have to be darn tough. I think like Smart Wool has the same lifetime warranty. A couple other brands definitely do the same. But I just go with darn tough because it's very easy on trail. There's any outfitter you go into is pretty much going to have darn tough, and it just makes everything very simple. But there's a huge variety of darn tough where you can wear a lot of different sizes, fits, different things where you can find what's right for you. This is what's right for me, and it's what I've kind of always worn. So definitely, I know like every hiker would probably recommend darn tough, but definitely like darn tough is my preferred way to go. I don't want to like say it's the right way or anything, but I would recommend, if you're like don't know, you never hiked before and you're just getting into hiking, you don't know what socks to wear because there's just so many options. Darn tough is definitely an option that you can look at. But if you want to, you can spend like $10 on socks and not even worry about it. Just save some money there, and they'll be less durable. But it's always an option. Socks aren't like a huge issue that you need to like spend a lot of time on. But again, if you are looking for something darn tough, I definitely recommend them, and it might be something worth looking into. Now, the most important thing, in my opinion, in hiking is shoes. All right, you're putting a lot of wear and tear. You're putting a lot of miles. You're putting a lot of faith in your shoes, and the shoes that you're wearing can absolutely make or break a hike. So I'm not going to talk about other shoes. I'm just going to talk about these and sing their praises because, like I said, I more than likely will be making a video on shoes in general in the future. But these are the North Face. So there's so many copyrights and trademarks that are in these shoes, and it's a mouthful. So there's a North Face men's Vective Fastpack Future Light. Vective Fastpack Future Light. So the North Face does have a full North Face or a full like Vective shoe line with a lot of different shoes. These are just kind of the ones I settled on, and honestly, I've talked about these before. They saved my AT hike. I was wearing some other shoes that I won't talk about right now. I was wearing, but just some other ones, and my knees hurt, my ankles hurt, my feet hurt, my hips, everything hurt so bad that I didn't think I could keep hiking. I was taking like 12 plus ibuprofen every day. Once I switched over, and this is only about halfway. I just gotten, I was getting through like Northern Virginia, and I was just, popping pills like crazy. It hurt so bad I could barely hike some days, and I would just go through, and it was like a hard limit. Once I hit like 15 miles, it was like, it felt like my feet were gonna fall off. And I tried different things. I got the insoles. Everybody talks about getting. Did nothing for me. I tried like KT tape, didn't do anything for me, and just stretching, rolling out, and just could not get used to the shoes that I was wearing, and had so many issues with them. And finally, Sergeant Pepper, if you watched like the beginning of my PCT hike, she was the one who drove me to the trail, and she was the one who recommended these shoes to me, and total game changer for hiking. Overnight, my foot pain went away, my ankle pain went away, my knee pain went away, and then once like the muscles got used to it and everything loosened up again and got back to normal, then my hip pain went away, my back pain went away. It was just like I was like walking on clouds for the rest of the trail. It was amazing. I will hype these shoes up. Definitely recommend them for anyone who's like a severe heel striker. If you don't know what that is, you just like whenever you're stepping forward, you drop down and your heel hits the ground first. I'm really bad about that because I stride really long. I like to hike fast, and that's just when you're taking that big of steps, your heel's just got to hit the ground. First, I have a high arch as well. Always have. They've kind of actually kind of been smushed down a little bit in my time hiking, but I have a pretty high arch. These have great arch support in them. Like I said, I tried insoles, it didn't do anything for me. These, I don't need any insoles in them. I buy the shoes, I put them on, I'm good to go, and that's the end of it. That's why I love them. The best thing is this, like, they have like the rounded. These are a little worn out. These were the last shoes I wore. I put like 700 miles on them at the end of the PCT and then into the finishing up the AZT. So they're a little smushed, but you can still kind of see they have the rounded bottom, the rounded sole to them, which gives you such a nice, like, it just, you can say what you want about, like, oh, you need to walk naturally and blah, 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 all this, and it's bad for your health if you're not wearing zero drop, barefoot, whatever shoes. All right, shoes were invented for a reason. There's a reason that shoes are a thing. If shoes weren't awesome, we wouldn't be wearing them every day. Like, when it's just so dumb to me, and I could seriously go on like a 15-minute rant. I have before to people. I'm sure they're like, okay, get over yourself, but it's seriously important to like have good shoes, and yeah, just to have the support to be able to walk, because you're gonna be walking a lot if you're gonna do a through hike, and it's seriously important. So I really do love these shoes. One thing, couple like downsides to them, not personally for me, but maybe for other people, is that they are fairly narrow. I have like narrow feet, so it's not as much of an issue for me. So yeah, that's just one thing. I will say they do stretch pretty well. So if you can take the like 50 to 100 miles to break these shoes in and let them expand, loosen the laces up a bit, let your feet fit into them, then it's something that that would definitely be recommended, especially if you're wearing another set of shoes that talks about how they're wide and have a wide toe box, and an unnamed brand that really hypes themselves up, and everybody hypes up, but it's breaking your feet and you're getting horrible plantar fasciitis and Achilles tendonitis, and it's just crushing you, and you just don't think you can go anymore, and you're severely limiting your miles and taking pills every day just to be able to keep moving forward. Definitely give it a try. Break them in. Try something different that's not just immediate comfort when you put them on. A lot of shoes, you put them on in the store and it's like, oh wow, these are super comfortable, like I could walk all day in these, but then you walk all day in them and you realize that they're not as comfortable as you thought they were whenever you put them on in the store. So yeah, definitely there's a lot of shoes out there, so don't take this as like, oh, I need to wear these, but if you have the high arch, if you are a bad heel striker, if you've tried other shoes and they're just not working for you and you're getting a lot of pain, definitely recommend. And also, if you've tried shoes that have like the rounded bottom on them and you don't like kind of that rocking feeling or whatever, when you're hiking, the North Face, they do have in their Vective line, they have a lot of variety. There's some that look like just your standard hiking shoe with the flat, pretty much flat bottom. They have I think some variants in the drops that they have, so if you want to go a little higher, a little lower, you can try different styles. Lot of different colors and stuff. So if you want to be in the thru hiker fashion show, they do have some pretty interesting colors that you can get. And there's a lot more that I could say about shoes, but I also have a hard time kind of recommending what I'm using to somebody, because there's so many variations in foot shape, walking style, just everything about it, where these shoes, like, legitimately, these are the perfect shoes for me. I've never had any issues with them. They last me, especially the Fastback Future Light, they'll last me usually about 650 miles, pretty normally. I mean, this is, you can see the tread on them. It's pretty worn down, but this is still like 700 miles on them. And there's some, it's not much, but 700 miles, you put that on any shoe and they're going to wear down quite a bit. So yeah, like shoes are definitely a big thing. Like definitely don't just take my word and be like, oh, well, I'll go try the North Face. It's an option. Like I said, if your foot fits the description of I have a high arch, I heel strike, I have a narrow foot, like it wouldn't be a bad idea to try these out, first if that's what you want to give it a shot. But there's a lot of shoes out there. There's a lot of different shapes of shoes. There's a lot of different shapes of feet. Definitely find something that is right for you. It's very important because when I started hiking, I found something that was not right for me, and it was horrible. It was awful. I could barely hike. Thought I was going to cause permanent injury to myself in doing so. And I would say if I had kept hiking, I would have, because I definitely know people who barely have like like a meniscus anymore, or have severe ankle pain. And I have enough ankle pain as it is. I don't need to add on to it by wearing shoes that make my ankles hurt even worse. So that's kind of my spiel on shoes. Definitely find something that's right for you. And I'll make a full video on this in the future. I'll talk about all the different types of shoes I've seen and kind of what I've seen them work for some people and work for other people in different foot shapes that, just in talking to people. I've tried a couple different pairs of shoes, but I've just been stuck on these for 4,000 miles, I think, and they have not done me wrong. So definitely an option. Try it out. Something that you can give a shot, but definitely do more research than just watching this one video. There's a lot of shoes out there. So that's my spiel on shoes and footwear. So go ahead and wrap this video up. All right, so that is it for everything that I wore this year hiking the Arizona Trail and Pacific Crest Trail. There's a lot of variety in clothes that you can wear. I do have I did this whole review talking about here's the information on different things that I wore, advice, one way or another. Other than shoes, I think clothes are something that you should not stress out about. Like put as little effort as you can into it, honestly. If you want to save the money, you can just wear like a dry fit shirt that you already have. I wouldn't really, I definitely don't recommend cotton. I wore cotton for like 120 miles, didn't have any huge issues. In the summer, cotton, it's going to smell bad. You're probably going to chafe with it while wearing it. There are a lot of bads to cotton, but like if you're just going out for like a weekend or something, or even like a week in the middle of summer, you don't need to spend $60 on some hiking shirt. It's not, this stuff is, I've seen people hike in the most ridiculous things and make it to the end, and they're like just ridiculous outfits. I met a guy on the PCT, and he said that he hiked the whole summer. I can't remember. I think he just like found some gym shorts and wore those, and then and had a cut off football jersey that he just found at like a Goodwill, and he like cut it off at the chest and just made it into a crop top and hiked like the whole summer all the way up to the whites in that. There's so many things. I knew a guy, the way that he got clothes on the AT was he would never do laundry ever. And you're like, that's disgusting. How did he ever have clean clothes? He would go from hostel to hostel, go to their loaner clothes, take off the clothes that he was wearing, throw them in their loaner clothes laundry, put on a new set of loaner clothes. And that was how he got his clothes. And he was like, yeah, I don't like ever steal the clothes. I just move them from one hostel to the next. And I was like, I guess, if it works. so there's not like, you don't need to take like spend like a week and plan out all the clothes that you're gonna wear and all this stuff. There's so much. You can pretty much wear whatever you want until you get to the winter, or until you get to like the fall when it gets a little cold and you're up in the mountains and stuff. Then definitely like, make sure you're wearing something warm, so you don't die, because that's not what you want to do on a through hike. It's like bottom of the list. Don't die, like, please. So like in the summer, you don't need to go crazy and spend a bunch of time researching. You can wear pretty much whatever you want. I mean, there was a guy on the AT who wore a doughboy outfit, like a World War II uniform, and that was what he wore, just every day hiking, and he made it just fine. And he was actually started ahead of me, finished ahead of me. He was faster than me the whole time. So this is not, clothes are not something you need to like go crazy and stress about and spend all this time. I mean, pick a few things, don't pack too much. You don't need a pair of clothes every day, maybe 1 or 2 t-shirts. I'm just starting out, I would say like 2 shirts, maybe 2 pairs of pants, a couple pairs of underwear, 3 pairs of socks. Boom, you're hiking. That's all you need. It's not something that you need to go crazy about thinking. Other than shoes. Shoes, spend a lot of time researching, try some different ones. If you have something where it's like a free return policy, REI is very good about this. So if you pick up a pair of shoes from REI and you're doing the warm-up hikes and you're taking some time before the trail, or the year before, and you're spending some time really getting some hiking in, put 200 miles on them. Walk a 20-mile day. Not right away. Spend some time working up to it, but definitely get a few 100 miles. Do some big days. Get some practice in. Get some practice on some rough terrain, some road walking. Get a wide variance of testing on these shoes, and then decide if you want to continue using them or not before you get on to whatever trail that you're planning on through hiking, and save yourself a lot of misery. I mean, myself and like every hiker ever, is included in this, where we just jumped into it and we're like, yeah, through hiking's gonna be awesome. I heard these about from somebody on YouTube. This is gonna be great. And then it's horrible. And you're just miserable, and you hate that person on YouTube forever because they recommended these stupid shoes to you. I've been there. Please don't hate me if you try the North Face and you're like, these are awful. I hate Schrodinger. Because I'm telling you, make sure you do your research. Make sure you try a lot of things. So yeah, that is pretty much it for the video. I hope you enjoyed the review of all the clothes that I wore this year. About probably 2 weeks again, I'll have a video coming out about all the miscellaneous stuff that I use. So that'll be like kind of electronics that I brought with me, water filters, water storage, stuff that I bring in like my med bag. I don't even know, trekking poles. Yeah, just pretty much. It's pretty much just going to be an everything else video. Anything that I didn't cover in the first 3 is going to be covered in part 4. And so if you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like. If you didn't enjoy it, please leave a comment on what I could do better. I know I'm far from perfect, and there's a lot of things, and I always appreciate constructive criticism. Don't just be rude. I've had people just be rude to me in the comments, and it's like, you're not helping anything. I'm just going to ignore you. You're not helping. You're just saying that, you're just being mean. And I'm not about that. Hiking's all about just being kind and doing what you want. So, constructive criticism, please. And if you watch a couple of these videos, you find yourself returning, or you just like this video and you're like, I want to see, I want to keep watching this guy. Please subscribe. Always helps us grow the channel little by little, and encourages me to keep doing these. So that's pretty much it for the video. I do if you made it this far, I do appreciate you watching. And I hope you have an amazing day. Hope you have amazing hikes in your future. And again, happy holidays to everyone out there in this, this tough winter, but beautiful, amazing holiday season. And I'll see you in the next video.